What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bold Voices. I'm Angela Belcamino. Thank you so much for tuning in. Another fun-filled, jam-packed, awesome show planned for you tonight. An amazing special guest. So let's share the stream, repost, let's get it out there. We want to have as many folks in the room as possible to join our conversation. It's really cool to be doing this. I remember with Shawn, we had a space. It feels like it was yesterday, but I don't know. It was months ago, maybe even a year ago now. I don't even know what the day was, but maybe some of you were there. It was a great conversation. He's such a cool person doing so many amazing things. So we're really excited to chat with him tonight, along with you. So please, as always, chat with us, put your questions, comments, feedback in the chat. We'll pull them up on the screen. There is a lot. He's got so many things going on, so many cool things that I'm sure you want to know more about. So ask away. And let's have some fun chatting tonight. Please like the stream. And if you haven't already, subscribe over on YouTube. Hey. We have on my panel Jay tonight, and our special guest is the Shawn Hendrix. Shawn Hendrix in the house. And Jay brought to my attention, it's a beard off tonight.
Shawn's definitely got me beat. So
it's a beard and a hat off. I don't know.
Yeah. He's got a nice hat too.
I love it. So wait, can we not hear him?
He's muted.
Oh no. Let me unmute you. I think I can.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Oh my God. What did you say?
I'll handle the technical stuff over here. So
probably better you than me. I was like, I thought you were playing a game with us.
No, I'm saying, I love my.
Oh, he's muted again.
I feel like he's playing with us. Shawn, you're muted again. I promise I'm not touching anything. It's not me.
Got you now.
We got you.
There's nothing like the start of a show and having a microphone muted. You know?
I love it though. It had us on the edge of our seats. We were like, right. I was trying to lip read. I was like,
I would have totally got canceled just now if I had not been muted. So it was a good thing. You can't believe what I just said.
It was strategic.
Oh, yeah.
I like your style. It was something about your hat, I feel like.
No.
He did it again.
No. Oh, no. What is this magic button you have that mutes you?
Yeah, 1 second.
This is a new viral challenge that we're doing right now.
I'm not doing anything. It just mutes me.
Well,
I'm just not going to touch anything.
Yeah, don't touch anything.
Yeah,
let's try that. Let's try that. Otherwise, the other thing we can try is have you drop and come back. But as long as you don't touch anything, we should be good.
Either way, I was saying, how can I win a hat off when he's got a Black Hawk on his hat? Mine's just my company's hat. It's got a machine of war on it. So
yeah. Well, that's where my handle comes from. I was a Blackhawk chief.
Yeah, exactly. So we're tied 1-1. I have a good beard, and this guy worked on helicopters. I think that's equal. I'm not sure.
You guys are both awesome. I know Jay is excited. You have things in common. He's excited to chat with you about and get to know. For people who don't, people could know you for a variety of things. Mm-hmm. You're a very cool person doing a lot of amazing things. You have a very impressive resume, and it feels like it just keeps growing. And since I last talked to you, you're doing more and more awesome things. Definitely always impressed by your advocacy. I know we talked mental health in the past. Mm-hmm. I know you really enjoy helping people, disaster relief, all that kind of stuff. But what people initially know you from, or how you initially gain recognition, is your work with Mr. Beast, for those who don't know, as talent and chief of staff for Mr. Beast. You did viral YouTube challenges, participated in Survive 100 Days in the Circle, where you completed 100 days in a defined area with basic supplies, limited resources.
Actually, that's the check from that video right there. I don't know if you can see
Ooh.
that.
Oh my
The
God.
giant check. Yeah.
Incredible. 7 days stranded on an island. So you did all of that and then transitioned into real life survival and homestead living. You're the co-founder of Operation Shelter, which is a grassroots and humanitarian disaster relief initiative. You've aided victims of Hurricane Helene. You have Hendrix Homestead going on. And now you're the director of communications for Lenoir. Is it Lenoir? Is that how you pronounce it?
Lenoir County GOP. Yeah.
County GOP. Holy moly. So people, yes, let us know what you want to hear more about. But what's new, like most recently since I last talked to you?
Well, I guess that, you come in and out of the news cycle, right? And I just re-entered the news cycle this week, apparently. By mistake, I dared to have a mural painted on my building, and people apparently think it's divisive. And so the news came out; it went super viral. They came out again today to ask me what I thought about the divisive comments, and it just blows my mind that people would be. I tell you what, though, 95% of the feedback was positive. I had Greenville police officers coming in today saying, thank you. True victims need to be remembered and recognized. I had people come by and say, thank you so much. This is a beautiful piece of artwork in our city. Nobody came into my store to tell me they didn't like it. It's funny. The negative comments seem to only exist online, right? So I think the big thing I took away from it is like, take what's in real life as real and ignore kind of the echo chamber or the noise online, right? Because not one person came in there and said, I hate that piece of artwork, so yeah, I couldn't believe how viral getting a mural painted on the building went. But I feel like the news did a good job of telling my story of why I did it, and then they went and got some people's comments. Some college kids said, "Oh, they're promoting white nationalism." Like, wow, that's a little bit of a stretch, So, right. But he did this with spray cans, by the way. Sab 45. That is done with cans, like shaker cans of spray paint. And I would not believe it if I didn't sit there and watch him do it. It looks like AI. When he sent me a picture of it being done, I said, wow, is that what it's going to look like? He's like, no, I'm done. You can come check it out. So it was absolutely phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. Crazy Days is saying it's beautiful. It is beautiful. And I actually have the news clip that you posted, and I want to play it because I was also actually shocked to hear the negative comments and very far-fetched, like you said, very, very out there. So let me just also hi to Hannah. Hi to Alexandra. We appreciate you. Let me go ahead and play this so you guys can tell us what you think about these. I'm not going to call them bold comments because they're bold's not the right word.
No. Pawn Shop has a new mural honoring the woman killed in a stabbing on the Charlotte light rail last. Pawn Shop has a new mural honoring the woman killed in a stabbing on the Charlotte light rail last summer. Chris Cook, a Greenville pawn shop has a new mural. A Greenville pawn shop has a new mural honoring the woman killed in a stabbing on the Charlotte light rail last summer. Chris Cook has the details on how the business was chosen and why it didn't cost the owner a dime.
Irina Zarutska's story has reached all corners of the world, including here in Eastern Carolina. Now a mural of her memory can be found at Greenville's Southern Gun and Pawn. The owner, Shawn Hendrix, said he saw posts by Intercom CEO Owen McCabe and Elon Musk online pledging to donate money to places in U.S. cities to paint murals of the woman who was stabbed to death on the Charlotte light rail in August.
If you've got kids, seeing somebody's life just taken on camera, I wish I'd never seen the footage, But you can't help but picture that be one of your kids in that situation. My heart just broke for the father.
Hendrix said he became friends with Musk through work they did together during Hurricane Helene, and he got his business on the list. Musk and McCabe paid Russian artist Sav 45 $10,000 to fly to Greenville and spend 4 days spray painting the mural, according to Hendrix. People in Greenville are already offering their opinions on the new art piece. Some say they don't think it's a genuine effort to remember Zarutska.
I think it's kind of a shame that Elon Musk is exploiting a tragedy to push white nationalist narratives.
Nakai Long, another ECU student, echoes those same concerns.
We see people like Elon Musk trying to take advantage of these situations and these billionaires and the people in power, really, trying to manipulate to fit their own agenda.
However, others are defending the effort to honor Zarutska's life, including Mason Kellum, who said Musk and McCabe can spend their money however they choose.
The fact of the matter is that someone was murdered in Charlotte, and he believes that it was wrong. He believes that it shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Hendrix said this mural and story are something he believes everyone can get behind.
You should be able to sit on a train and not worry about being murdered.
Reporting in Greenville, Chris Cook, WITN News.
Yeah, I mean, a mural taking advantage. I don't understand. I don't see that connection there. So that's pretty wild. I was really surprised to hear that. I was really surprised. I mean, I don't know why things that seem common sense, right, and common ground are not so much so right now. And this is, I feel like, is another example why you would look at this mural and think that it's anything other than beautiful.
Yeah. No, it's just like, oh, let me say big words that I've, heard over and over again. I mean, it's just like, oh, and it's Elon Musk taking advantage, or like, come on, guys. Like there's so many other things you can complain about with Elon Musk. Like there's literally stuff you could probably find that you could pick on, but like this is just not one of them, And then the other guy, the white nationalism, like define that for me. Like just paint me a picture of how this does that. Like just like I'm 5. Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Yeah.
I'm all ears. And the last guy, that's my guy. He gets a discount if he comes into the store. He's right. You spend your money how you want to. This is America, which the first two I don't think are actually even happy that this is America, but I'll leave that at that.
Well, I mean, if defending, innocent victims and remembering somebody, a beautiful person or whatever in this way is white nationalism, then sign me up. Like, honestly, like I'm going to be on the side of good. Call it whatever you want. I don't really care. And, good on you for doing that. It's you're doing it for the right reasons. People did the murals for George Floyd and all this stuff. And these people wouldn't complain about that or whatever, but now they're complaining about this. She's a beautiful young woman sitting on a train who got murdered in the worst way possible. And, it's something to highlight, because we got to protect our people in this country. It doesn't matter the color of your skin.
People stood there and watched it happen.
Yeah, the thing is like I don't think that people could believe what they were seeing. I think it's so horrific that they were like, it's like in combat you see that a lot too. Like people like when things first kick off or whatever, they freeze because they can't believe that they're actually seeing the things that they're seeing, and that for me that's less of an issue than the judge letting this guy out many times. Like just absolutely should not have been on the streets. He really is a dangerous person, and there should be consequences for judges doing this stuff.
The fact that judges are not held accountable for the terrible decisions they make blows my mind. I'd love to have a job that I could completely royally screw up, cause deaths, and have I'm a judge. I can't be held accountable for anything I do. Right. The reason they are so terrible is because it's like if you touch a stove and it's not hot, you'll touch it again because there's no consequence for your action.
There's no consequences.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, of course they're terrible. It's like when you have unions that protect bad employees or like bad teachers. Well, then you end up with a bunch of bad teachers. With this, I don't know, is it a law that makes it where judges don't stand account for anything? Do we not throw them off the bench anymore? I guess it doesn't help that you had like the governor, Roy Cooper, backing this type of process. I mean, the Democrats in North Carolina are all for it apparently. And I kind of look at like, what are they trying to achieve with this? And I see it's a desire to deal with inequities in the justice system, right? So I'm like, let me put themselves in their shoes. Like, there are huge, massive problems with our justice system, but the solution to it is not to throw it out, right? It's the best one in the world. It's got its flaws, but we don't fix it by just letting everyone out in the world. That's not equity. That was not equitable to her or to her family, right? She paid the ultimate price. And those who made those decisions should be held accountable. Now, the way we hold our politicians accountable is we show up and we vote them out of office. And that's one reason I got involved in politics last year, was because of Hurricane Helene. I'm watching our North Carolina residents be completely abandoned by Roy Cooper and completely abandoned by FEMA. The only people getting help out there were the boots on the ground, the people that sent money in and brought trailer loads of things, all the good American citizens. And I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to get involved. And that's how I ended up with being the director of communications in Lenore County, because I went to this meeting. I was like, hey, how do I get involved? And I found out real quick. And a lot of people, this is probably a good thing for people to know. If you want to affect politics, it's more than voting. You have to get in. If you don't like what the GOP is doing, go join the GOP. The GOP does what it does because it's made up of people who vote for what they do. If you don't like the leadership of the GOP, go to your local county, sign up, bring your friends, vote the people that aren't doing the right thing out, and then that's how it works. It's a bottom up thing. You can't hope we get the right people in power at the top if the bottom is poisoned, right? There's a lot of people who just like to be in power for the sake of power, and once they get to Raleigh, they're all working with each other. We got a lot in DC is the same way. It's all about being liked. So go sign up with your local GOP, show up, meet the people, and have your voice be heard. And I am very polarizing, but they voted to make me the director of communications. I speak my mind. Now, I don't speak my mind as the GOP. I'm speaking my mind as Shawn Hendrix, but I'm in those meetings. I'm there. I'm voting. I go to the state conference and I vote for who leads our party. And so if you guys do anything this year, go join your local GOP and get involved, and let's shape it into the thing it should be. I know that was a long rant, but passionate.
No, it was a great rant, because we actually talk about this quite a bit, because there's so many people online that have something to say. There's people who just want to complain and yell at the TV and criticize, right? There's all this judgment, and there's so much of that going on. So I really love and find it so inspirational, and hearing that, you got up and got involved. Like, you really did it. You went out there. You're not just posting. You're not just donating. You felt that strongly to get involved and make things happen. And a lot of people won't do that, like actually get out. They think
it's tough. It's tough because we're all busy. We're all, trying to make a living. And when I walked in there, the room is full of mostly retired people, and God bless them. They're retired. They have time. They're working the polls. They're watching the polls. They're holding people accountable. They're doing a lot of work, but I walked into, like, it's great to have some young blood in the room. I'm like, who are you talking to? I'm 40 years. I'm very young in that realm. And we need the younger generation in there too, to be heard. And so, and they welcome it. It's not like they're trying to keep people out, but it's already got 3 kids, you're working a job, and you add this to your plate. But I mean, we kind of have to, or we're just going to get what we get. If we sit on our hands and we don't get involved, then the party's going to be what it is. And you really can't complain because you didn't go in there and vote. Become a delegate, go to the conferences. I would say it probably takes about 10 days or maybe 12 days of your time a year to really be involved with the GOP, to go to your monthly meeting, to help during the elections, to go to the state convention. And the state convention is a blast. Like, you have a great time. I mean, you meet so many people, especially for me. Like, I met so many people that I met online, I met them in person, and we had a great time. So, but yeah, that. If you pick one thing to do to help change the country for the better, is go get involved at a local level. Your local politicians will make your life bad way faster than federal will. They will pass zoning laws, just taxes. Like, your local politics affects your life way more than the federal does. And so, and you can very much have a big voice locally.
That's incredible. I know things take time, to see things happen. We talk about that a lot too. What has been the most rewarding for you so far? What are you the most proud of that, you've been a part of either seeing or making happen at this point?
I mean, Hurricane Helene. The Black Mountains Children's Home, delivering Christmas to those kids year after year, hearing those stories and what those kids go through. Christine, we've been wielding a house for a person for a year and a half, and we haven't even poured the foundation yet because of what a nightmare the your local government, right? The zoning laws, the septic laws, the setback laws. Well, all that stuff had to be redone because it got wiped out. We had to have 9 people sign off on easements to get permission to build. And we're like finally the last person to actually build her a home. The chances she got this done without, we had like 5 or 6 people pouring a lot of time into knocking these down for her. When that house is built, that will be kind of the final like Helene, thing. Because man, we were not naive. We thought we were going to have her house by Christmas, of this last year. And it just kept, and now we're here in 2026. But yeah, the stuff with the Hurricane Helene, it just really opened my eyes. Big shout out to Mr. Beast. He let me basically do that for full-time work. I got to go up there and help. He gave me his credit card and said, go, help him. And he paid for a good chunk of the Starlink satellites. And but yeah, so then when I got done with that, I realized, okay, I want to be involved in politics. I want to be involved in this. And I guess, gosh, it's almost been a year ago that I left in March of last year. But that was what kind of set me on this path of, okay, I've been given a voice. Why did you give me this voice where I've been on a billion views of YouTube videos? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? And then Hurricane Helene, I was already struggling with that question anyway. And then Hurricane Helene hit. I'm like, oh, this is what I do with it. I help people. I was able to, get Elon to make Starlink free. I was able to get JD Vance to meet with me and talk about what needed to happen before he was, after they were elected, but before he was vice president, and just able to really bring a lot of attention into what was going on up there. And it was funny too, because it was like 2 sides of the fence. There was like what the left was saying and what the right was saying, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. And so it was nice to be able to come out. And I didn't know who I was going to make mad each day. I'm like, I'm either going to make the right really mad today, or I'm not sure. Just roll the dice, But it was the main thing is just telling what was really going on up there, because that's what matters. It doesn't matter what you think; it matters what's actually happening on the ground to the people that are suffering through it.
Yeah, that's all really incredible. And yeah, it's so great that you're doing that. I think it's so amazing. It must be so rewarding, and I'm sure it is frustrating because you want to see things happen quickly for people. Yeah. But I can't imagine that moment when these things, you change their lives, and oh my gosh, what better thing can you do with your life, really? So
it's hard to like even think back through it all. It was so much, so fast. It's like a blur. But I got pretty injured up there too. I wouldn't trade it for nothing, and so, but yeah, it's kind of forced me into what I realize is important is taking your voice and speaking out for those that don't have one. So.
Well, we need more people like you, that's for sure. I think so many people, unfortunately, and not to generalize, because there are a lot of amazing people out there, but people can get very self-involved and in their own world. And it really takes a special person like you to feel that strongly to, to spend the time and want to do all of this for others.
I tell you, there's definitely, the excitement of being able to do this and work on it. There are so many men and women who you'll never hear their names. You'll never know their names. You'll never know their stories, that just did absolutely heroic stuff to help and save people up there. And so I'm just blessed that I happen to be in a position where I was a known entity before the storm, right? Because then people like Mercury One could call me and say what is needed and know that their money is going to the right place. And so that was literally like all these like Andrew from Excel College. I roll up, they've got all these college kids. They're in the middle of the storm. Their campus was spared, and all these college kids are out of work now. They're probably going to get. They don't have a way to pay for school or pay for to live, but they're working at Depot Center every day. Nobody's even telling the story. Nobody even knows outside of the area that this is happening. But I found out we needed a couple $100,000 to pay these 150 kids for the next 3 months so they could continue to work this Depot Center. So because I was connected with Mercury One, I said, hey JP, hey Glenn Beck, what if we gave 200 grand to these kids so they could just work full time and do this? And they were like, great idea, we'll send a check. I'm like, oh really? Like, it's that easy? Like, yeah, where do we send a check to? Because like, again, I was able to, they would never have that connection. So I was able to connect a party who wants to help with people who are doing the work on the ground. And that, to me, that was my role up there, was to find the people doing the work and get them the resources they need. Again, so many people spent so much time doing so many things and we'll never know those stories, but they don't care. That's not why they did it. They did it because that's what they do for their neighbors.
Yeah. And I love that you highlight that and shed light on that, because it's not about them. It's not about getting attention or credit. It's because it's the best thing to do, because you genuinely feel that strongly about helping other people and giving back and making a difference, making a positive difference. And I love what you said too. A lot of people who build a platform, they're not concerned necessarily about using it for other people. They kind of more, have selfish reasons. So I do love that it really says a lot about you to want to use your platform for good for other people and to make a positive difference in the world.
Social media for social good.
Yeah.
It's not just a bad thing. It can be used very well as well.
Absolutely. Yes. We need more people like that. I want to highlight some comments. Going back to what people said about the mural. Imagine being so miserable you find a beautiful memorial mural offensive enough to complain about. It is pretty wild, Hannah. I agree. And everyone agrees. And Crazy Dis said,
he's talking about Hannah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mule teams, the Amish. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so many more. Just the neighbors. The neighbors that had a chainsaw that would go and cut out the elderly neighbors, the neighbors that brought groceries to the elderly neighbors. The people lost bridges. They couldn't even get out of their house. We rebuilt a driveway for a guy who couldn't leave his house unless we did it. Nobody else would do it. And, the neighbors paid for it. You got to buy the gravel somewhere, and so this, oh God, it was just, when I was there, it was the America I wanted to live in. And I thought it would change things, and so you kind of get naive and everybody's kumbaya. And, we're in Asheville, which is one of the most liberal cities on the face of the earth. And I'm at a very liberal, like, it's the neighbors, they're neighbors. But, I could tell I'm like in camo, they're wearing what they wear and colored hair, all the typical stereotypes, right? We couldn't be worlds apart, but we were all serving the same people. We had some OnlyFans girls that reached out and wanted to donate tiny homes. And they came and donated $100,000. And we did this whole thing, and everybody's singing the Star Spangled Banner afterwards. And it's like, this is freaking America, right? Like, we all have our opinions and differences, but at the end of the day, we're all Americans and we can get along. And I feel like it's gone again. It's brutal. It's like, oh, I wish that could have lasted. And it did. Like, there's people that I met along the way, like Matt and Aaron, that they took me into their home. They had no reason. I'm this clearly conservative guy driving a big old white truck, and they messaged me and like, hey, you're up here helping people. You can stay in our house. And they took me in. I'm like sleeping in this like nice soft bed instead of the back of my truck. And so and we had conversations, and we were, again, worlds apart. But as we got to know each other, as we broke bread and discussed, we moved closer together. I was able to tell them things, and they're like, there's no way that's true. I'm like, well, let's look into it. Let's just dig into it. And you find out like, oh, that's actually true. And you come out of it with your eyes open, because when you put your hope in government, there's nothing that'll break that more than the government utterly failing you. it makes you question things, you know. And so it's one of the things I think is most missing now is that we were forced to break bread with one another. Yeah, Matt and Aaron are amazing. We were forced to sit around a table together. We were forced to get in person again because there was no internet, and we had to see each other face to face because there was only one place to get water, one place to get food. And when we started seeing each other face to face, we weren't as far apart as the media and the government would lead us to believe.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. The guys we saw, the college kids we saw, are being poisoned by a 3% on the left. And there's 100% of people that are being, or there's a lot of people who are being poisoned by the 3% on the right. You know, and what's funny enough is those 3% actually don't much disagree with each other it's got the horseshoe theory, right, of politics. But at the end of the day, I think most people, if we got around the table and grabbed 10 people out of the world, we'd probably agree on 80% of things, 85. But the main thing is the stuff we disagree on, we could still be friends and friendly, and we could still be Americans. We still support one another. And that's the way it used to be. And I don't know what we need to do, but I'd love to get back to that.
What was the biggest eye opener for you with the whole experience and everything? You know, it's like for me, like just even like where the hurricane hit was kind of crazy. You know, you wouldn't expect in the mountains of North Carolina for a hurricane to hit or whatever. But then the disaster response, you know, I think was, you know, completely botched in a lot of ways. And then, but you see the American, you know, the real Americans, people coming together or whatever to make it happen, help people out. You know, what the whole situation, like, what was the biggest eye opener for you?
The eye opener for me was being at the Asheville airport right after the storm hit, trying to receive my Starlinks from Ryan Hall. Big shout out to Ryan Hall, one of the best weather, no, not one of the best, the best weather guy on YouTube. For forecasting and all that. Love Ryan Hall. He sent 30 Starlinks down. Oh, hang on a second. We have a fire.
Oh no. Well, go be safe, please.
Just give me 1 second.
Of course.
This is, my wife's gonna kill me, but this is actually probably her cooking timer going off.
We won't tell her you said that. Oh man. I've been there.
Oh, hang on a second.
Yeah, no, please be safe. No rush. Go take care of what you need to. It reminds me of my New York apartment in New York City. Like no matter what I made, it would get smoky and it would always set off the fire alarm.
That's this place here. I guarantee you can't even see smoke in the kitchen right now.
Correct.
But
yeah.
It would be embarrassing because if I'm sitting in here, there's actually a fire. I just go turn off the fire and all I see like flames shooting out the window. Like, oh, maybe that was a real fire. But no, it's completely fine.
Oh my God.
Are you asking about what was the most eye-opening? I think it was standing on a hill above the FEMA camp and seeing this massive camp of housing and tornado shelters and stores and supplies and nothing going in and out of it and no people being sheltered while I am on the internet begging for RVs so families don't freeze to death. And then nobody ever stayed there. Like it was never used. And then all the FEMA people stayed down in Raleigh. I was like, they fundamentally do not care about us. And not that I was a big fan of the government in the first place. I've kind of been libertarian my whole life. And so just standing there seeing like, this is the utter waste. This is how like Ronald Reagan said it best. The worst thing you can hear is we're from the government. We're here to help. And it just rang true. And I just stood there in awe. Like I'm literally standing, posting a video saying like, I got a family of 6 that has to have a place to stay. And then I see this down here. It was just that millions of dollars available, but yet we can't even get RVs into the disaster zone. Yeah, exactly. It was crazy. And then when I got to the airport, Ryan Hall brought in these Starlinks. Little guy at the airport, this is a huge shout out to NC State Troopers. Little guy at the airport's like, hey, we're going to have to hold anything for FEMA that comes in. It'll have your name on it and they'll give it to you. I'm like hell, you're taking those. Those are my private property. You have no right to take them. I don't care what FEMA says. And the FEMA wasn't even there. I'd already been directing National Guard to put food outside the airport gates because they had nobody telling them where to take it. And they're helicopter teams. You can imagine a Black Hawk lands. You don't have ground transport to go into the city with the food. You're in a Black Hawk. You're supposed to drop it off, forklift, go onto a truck, and then go final mile. There was no final mile set up. I'm like, put it outside the gates. People will take it. And I go in and get told that they're going to hold on to my Starlinks and they're not even there operating. State troopers like, we're going onto the tarmac. And he's like, well, we're not supposed to. He's like, I'm a state trooper. This is North Carolina. I outrank FEMA. I'm going onto the tarmac. And he went and got our Starlink. So you see the picture that Elon retweeted. I'm standing there with 2 state troopers and a stack of Starlinks. If those state troopers had not stood up for me and those Starlinks, we would have not gotten that early communication. So again, I just kept seeing this like complete failure of the government to actually provide for, but more than that, actually impeding our ability to help. When Joe Biden came in, we were trying to do drone deliveries of baby food over the mountain, and they shut our airspace down so he could come in, land at the airport, and leave. Like this is not the time. Like this is not the time. I don't need you to come survey the damage. You guys aren't doing anything anyway. And so, I mean, I did get really bitter. I got really angry. And then when the morning of the election came out, and I'd always been, I'm on the Beast channel. We're very apolitical. It's an entertainment channel, rightfully so. I believe that, hey, just entertain. We don't need to make everything a secret message, right? And I decided that morning, I'm like, nope, I'm going to say something. And I came out like, look, I'm voting for Donald Trump, and here's why. And it got quite a bit of views in North Carolina because my audience is very heavily North Carolina. And I don't know, maybe that helped move the needle to make sure North Carolina went for Trump. And again, we just have to speak out because they tell us, don't talk about religion and politics. And that's to keep us silent. That's not to keep us protected. We should be talking religion. We should be talking politics because that's what makes us cohesive and have the same ideologies, the same, like have the same goals as Americans, is to actually speak about those things. And we've been told we were canceled for years if we talked about those things. And so now it's, I guess, just speak out, speak your mind, and go see people face to face. Go get off the internet and get back out amongst the people.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. In my experience, and I think you know this, like I've been canceled by the left essentially for a lot of what you're saying, where things are not adding up to me. I'm calling them out, or I'm speaking, just asking questions, right? I think it's so important, just to speak up and ask and challenge things and be like, oh, this doesn't quite make sense, but you're not really allowed to do that. They want you to subscribe to the echo chamber. I would much rather like have the transparency and the accountability, and it can be on both sides. So, but yeah,
we don't have to all agree on everything. Like,
correct. It's weird if we did.
And I get yelled at all the time. Like right now, I go after more Republicans than I do Democrats. Right? For me, I feel like it's my job to hold our Republican Party accountable, my Republican Party accountable, because that's what I'm voting for. That's what I believe in. Democrats do what Democrats do. I'm not voting for that. I'm not going to. I mean, I can complain about what they're doing, but for me, I got a call from a senator the other day because I was going after another senator. Like, hey, he's a good guy. I'm like, I'm not saying he's not a good guy. He's just wrong on glyphosate. He's wrong on giving immunity to chemical companies. And I can have that opinion and still be part of the party. This isn't 1984. We don't have to lockstep, with word speak and double speak and all this other stuff. Like I can disagree with Trump's executive order on the Defense Act for glyphosate. Like, sure, we need that stuff, but we don't need to pass then also immunity to these companies making these products. Like we should have a right for damages done by a company that harms us. Like no other company gets that. My construction company, if I doze your house over, I don't got any special immunity. Like I'm out of business. I'm bankrupt. Right. And so why would we hand that to one of the biggest companies in the world? So all that to say, I disagree with Trump on that executive order. Oh, you're a left wing. You're this, you're that. It's like, wait, I disagree with one thing. I'm like, and now I'm out, like that's just, it's sad. And again, I think that's why 80% of us agree on most things, but we're told if you disagree on one thing, you can't be friends. But that's how a two-party system maintains control. There can only be right and left, nothing in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, there seems to be, the more conversations that I'm having with people, the more it seems like we agree on this. It's been a lot of people's experience right now, and it's very frustrating. So my question to you is, how do we keep hope alive with this, with all of this frustrating stuff happening and the violence and the aggression and everything so heated and divisive? Like how do we, what do you think about how we keep hope alive?
Well, for me, like hope comes from Christ, right? Hope comes from a perfect Father, that new restoration. Like, I'm a believer, so like I put my hope in that. Like, we are not promised a perfect world here. We are in, like, through the struggles, it makes us, it forges us into better people. And so, like, for me, it's faith. I don't think if you put your hope in the world, you're always going to be disappointed. But there's something in the Bible called the one another's, right? And within Christian community, love one another, bear one another's burdens, serve one another. There's all these one another's. And I think we've lost that one anotherness in just outside of Christian community, just in general. I feel like those were kind of American values as well. And we saw a lot of that during Hurricane Helene. And so I would say, like, if you're not happy and you are struggling and it does seem bleak and it does seem dark, go serve, go help other people, go love other people, go bear other people's burdens, and all of a sudden maybe that will also lift you up. And so it is hard to look at if you watch the news, doom scrolling, right? Like, it's hard to stay positive. And I even fall in that trap. And then I'll look up and I'll see the sun setting over my beautiful cows and sheep, and I'm like, my Lord, I'm blessed. My kids are healthy. I have a home. But I think it's getting back into relationship with other people. You know, I think so many people are shut in. I think we have an epidemic of loneliness. And I think a lot of this comes out of loneliness, right? I think people are finding ways to put their energy into being angry online because they're really lonely. I know somebody said, imagine being so miserable that you would think this is divisive. Imagine being so miserable. Imagine being that miserable. Like, somebody is that miserable, and why? They're probably lonely. They probably feel isolated, ostracized, and they're looking for a reason that's not themselves, and maybe it's not their fault. But just, I don't know how to fix that other than to say, go join your local volunteer fire department. Go join your local church. Go help at a retirement home. Go help at a whatever. Just get involved with the community, meet other people, and find out that you're not alone, and that there's a lot of other people that believe what you do, and that we're all not that different, you know. And I think that's the main thing, is to stop believing this lie that America's headed for the great divorce and there's no repairing it. I fall for it too. Sometimes I get frustrated. I'm like, man, we're doomed. You know, it's time for our civilization to fall. But that's not true.
Yeah. And I think, you know, catching yourself, right, in those moments, and just like the self-awareness and being like, all right, what can I do? Feeling a sense of control, things that are within your control, what you can actually do, I think helps. Then, you know, the source of anxiety and depression, a lot of times feeling out of control, or like there's nothing you can do about things. But absolutely, I think that's great advice. Community, connection, relationships, priorities as well. And I think practicing gratitude, there's a lot of what I'm hearing you say that I think
thankfulness is massive.
Helpful.
You can't be happy without thankfulness. And so it's learning to be thankful. It's framing your reference. And also too, like, I think especially for men, like, I can't speak for females, but for men, I believe a lot of us don't have a purpose anymore. I think we are built to serve. We are built to protect. It's in our DNA, and we've been stripped of that. We weren't built for spreadsheets and 9-hour days in an office to come home and watch sports ball and bet on sporting bets and then rinse and repeat and then live for the weekend. Well, that may be what it takes to pay the bills, and that's fine. That's what men do. But it may take, you know, like I said, you have to push yourself outside that comfort zone. And I think somebody said serving is the best cure for depression. It's so true. A matter of fact, I think, I can't remember which pastor said it. He says, if you're struggling, try serving the community. Like, if you're really struggling with sin, stay busy serving the community.
Yeah,
you know, get busy helping others.
Yeah, I went to a Catholic school, and a priest, he gathered a bunch of the young men around or whatever, and he said, you're gonna have to work towards something in life in order to be happy. and that's reigned true like my whole life. Like exactly what you're saying. You have to work towards something that you find meaningful in order to be, and that doesn't mean that you're going to be happy if you're doing that, but that's your path to happiness. That's how you're gonna find it ultimately, is if you're working towards something that you find meaningful or whatever. And he said, my path happens to be the priesthood or whatever, and that's that's where I find meaning. But he said, that's not necessarily what it's going to be for you. It could be family, it could be all these different things that you could be working towards, community involvement, a lot of my friends, I used to volunteer at a dog rescue. You used to find some of the most dedicated people on the planet in dog rescues.
Oh yeah.
It is the coolest thing. Like, these people just go to extreme lengths to save these dogs, and God bless them for that. It's so neat.
She says, if you don't like people, go help at the local dog shelter.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah,
that's true.
And just a good friend of mine.
My wife would sign up for that real quick.
Yeah.
I have 5 dogs here, so we're practically like a dog shelter.
There's definitely a lot of people who are like, I like animals more than people,
Yeah. But what's funny? Even when you go to the dog shelter, you're going to meet other people who like animals, and you're going to like those people, right? So you can't help it. It's amazing that we did a thing where we had 100 dogs adopted. And it was one of my favorite things. We went down to the big dog, somewhere in Florida, is a big dog rescue. And just seeing the kids and these dogs get united with them. And people, like you said, the people that work down at that place were passionate. It was just like, I didn't see anybody sad. There was no sad people when you're adopting 100 dogs out, So that is so true. It's tough though, because it's easy to sit in your misery loves company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so just to sit in it and dwell in it, and it eats you alive slowly, boils you alive slowly.
Yeah, and you can really spiral. Like, the more you go down that route, and then your thought processes get negative and dark, and it can be hard to pull yourself out of. Yeah, no, I love that. Even watching pet videos is uplifting. Like, you can, it brings a smile. So imagine the pet therapy and, the animal therapy, just being around animals.
There's so many charities in everybody's town that are just dying for help, right? They're sitting there right now going if we could just get some more volunteers, we could do so many things. Some friend of ours that lived on our farm in Oklahoma for a while, prepping for their charity, moved to Austin. Their thing was aged out foster kids. So they've aged out of the system, but now the government gives them a check and throws them to the wolves. No coaching, no mentorship. And so they had this great idea. It's called My Family's Farm, and they got the land and they got some tiny houses, and they're loving on these young adults. They still have chores, but they're part of a family unit, and they're getting that coaching and mentorship into young adult life. And I have just seen so many people come around them to volunteer, their neighbors are all involved. And, this was a lonely older gentleman who's now pouring into something. And it's just so amazing to see how contagious that is. And then there's a charity in your area right now, mm-hmm. waiting for someone to come and say, hey, can I help out? And then worst case scenario, you help people. Maybe it doesn't fix anything, but at least you did something.
It's a win-win, right, for everyone involved. Absolutely. Well, let's talk about homesteading. I know Jay wants to talk about it somewhat. So what projects are you currently working on, or what project has been sort of taught you the hardest lesson? I don't know. Tell us about that, what it's been like.
Man, it's so funny, the things I get discouraged over. This morning, I was trying to get a machine on a trailer out to a job, and my wife's brand new, beautiful red barn. It just got finished. The garage door has never been shut on it, right? And I roll in, and the little concrete bumps my machine up and just caves the door in. And it's it just wrecked my day. It wrecked my day because it's like a brand new scratch on a car. Ooh. And then you got all these projects, all this work, and in the money, and it's just you're why am I doing this? But then I'm just up here right before your show, feeding the animals and watching the sheep eat and the cows, and I'm again, it's that thing, like in the moment, you're just like, I like literally let it get me so down for no reason. You know, at the end of the day, it's a $350 garage door. Does that suck? Yes. But my goodness, it's a garage door on the barn that I have to put the animals I raise for my family to eat in. Like, please don't be such a baby. You know, like you are so blessed. And again, thankfulness. Like I was brought down because I wasn't being thankful. And then it took the end of the day to go, oh, this is great. I'm still great. So all that to say, there's so many projects that, I feel like you don't ever finish it, but we just finished the barn, so we can get into we got milk cow and milk goats coming. So my wife's wanted to have dairy animals pretty much her whole life, and so we're finally making that dream come true. I'm super excited to have gallons of extra milk to make cheese and butter and sauerkraut, all the great things out of. We put rye seed out today. It's funny enough, I put a bunch of rye seed out on my farm. And I'm not sure if it'll grow because I don't spray any chemicals on it. I've been told that if I don't spray chemicals on it, it won't grow. So we're going to see what happens. You know, I'm just going to put a seed in the ground and maybe something will come up from it. It's fun. It's homesteading apparently is controversial, you know? So, but yeah, it's just a ton of different projects. But the main thing is to get fully self-sufficient on our food supply. And I think we're pretty much there on meat. And then we're working heavily on vegetables.
Yeah. For me, it's really cool to see, like, when I see young people or whatever, especially getting involved in stuff like that, getting chickens, you know, starting big garden, like that is so cool for me to see because it's such a positive thing, right? Eating healthier, you know, producing your own food is there's no downside to any of that. It's really cool to see people doing that. You know, I got involved, like I used to have bees was my big thing, and I produced so much honey that I've still got honey. Like it
lasts forever.
My son and I, we did it or whatever, and we were like, where are we gonna put all this? When we were like harvesting it or whatever, like we had so much freaking honey. But just seeing stuff like that is really awesome. And I'm glad that people are becoming aware of the things that you put into your body, especially because growing up, we weren't taught stuff like that. You know, my dad and my mom always, you know, told you stuff like that, but like nobody really paid attention. You know, you thought that granola bars that are made with canola oil and stuff like that are good for you. You know, that these were the things that you were taught or whatever. But now, you know, people, there's been this great awakening in terms of, like, you know, the Maha movement and stuff like that. And the pandemic really opened a lot of people's eyes too about shots, especially that they're putting into their bodies. And it's really like, people are becoming hyper aware, and I think it's really awesome. I think that's, you know, one of the coolest things that you can do with, you know, the social media and stuff like that and spreading information or whatever, is people are becoming more aware of these things and ways to live healthier and make positive change. You know, it's really awesome to see.
Well, that's something we want to do on the homestead, is we want to educate. I mean, I'm building this as a teaching facility. You know, we want to have tiny homes and have people come out. I'd love to see young couples. I'd love to build tiny homes, have young couples come live for 2 years, save money, work on the homestead, start raising some of their own animals, and then basically go buy some land and basically multiply young families making local food for local people. Something I live in a manufactured home. I live in a double wide, you know, and I think manufactured homes are a great gateway to home ownership. For the price I paid, for the price it would cost to buy a brick home in a nice neighborhood, you can have a manufactured home, which are built better than most of the houses being built today because they're built in a factory, they're inspected. They're not sitting out in the weather. These new homes you buy are full of mold and mildew before you ever move into them. They're $85 a square foot versus $200 or $400 per square foot. So for the same price you could buy a brick home for in a nice neighborhood, you could have 10 to 20 acres of land, a metal shop building, a barn, a tractor, and a home for the same price as a brick home on, you know, 18,000 square feet where you can't grow any your own food. So one thing I want to try to set out to do this year is to kind of myth bust manufactured homes, right? Like if you were like, you live in a trailer house? Like, yeah, I live in a trailer house. It's 2,400 square feet with 2x6s and a brick foundation, and you know, it cost me almost nothing to heat it because it's so well insulated. Yeah, it's, you know, there's a stigma to what a manufactured home is. It just shows up on rails. You know, it's got a steel foundation. I don't have There is no wood on my house that touches the ground. Like that's a huge benefit for longevity. I have a steel frame under my home. So now there are trailer houses, and they're like the tin cans from the 70s, the 80s, and that's not what I'm talking about. But hopefully be able to. So that's what, again, when we started Southern Prime Construction, was I would hope I find somebody who says, hey, I want to sell my house in the city. I don't have the skills or the equipment to build this. Can you go out? And I would love to go find 5 acres for someone, prep a pad, put a double wide, put a barn, fence it, put the driveway, the water, the septic, do some stormwater control, build a small pond to hold stormwater, and like be like, boom, you're homesteading. You know, because I think the big gateway is like, I don't have a heavy equipment, I don't have the knowledge, I don't have the skill, and it takes some years to get there. But for the price of a standard tract home, we could turnkey somebody growing their own food on 5 acres. And I went through this. The reason I ended up with so much heavy equipment was because I tried to get this stuff built for myself, and I couldn't find anybody. And then if I found people, there were such big outfits, they just quote me like, oh, $95,000. I'm like, I could buy a bulldozer and do it myself for that. And I did. And then so after we turned around and looked around, I'm like, oh, I kind of own a construction company now. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to help people move into this lifestyle. Instead of going and buying a tract home, buy 10 acres of land, put a manufactured home on it, and start growing your own food.
Big fan, big supporter of myth busting. I love that. Taking control of your own life. Shawn planting rye, not knowing if it will grow. Always a learning process to homes. Yes, it sounds like an adventure, but like a fun adventure. And I just love your perspective. It's like you said, I mean, anything that happens in our life has the potential to derail us or derail our day, but you can really, put it back in perspective. The way you sort of walked us through how you were able to do that, I think is very helpful for people to think about, because we want to let something ruin our entire day. Yes, it sucks. Like you said, it's not ideal. These things are part of life, right? It happens. And I love the perspective that you have to really kind of ground yourself and practice the gratitude and the thankfulness and, and bring it back. So thank you so much for rating the stream. We love you, Quiet Part Pod. Thank you. Yes, thanks guys so much. Okay, I have a question. If the power grid went down tomorrow, how prepared are most Americans really?
Zero.
Yeah.
This is actually an exercise that I teach, and I ask everybody to do this. So a weekend where you're going to be basically home, not a lot of plans. Friday night, turn off the main breaker to your house. And you will know by Sunday how prepared you are. And you're probably not. You're going to realize you don't have flashlights in the right places. You don't have a way to cook. Like, people are so, we saw this with North Carolina recently with the big snowstorms that came through. Generators selling out, kerosene, everything sold out the day before the storm. It's like, you should already have this stuff. But yeah, it's, people are very, very tied to the power grid. It's not that expensive to have an electrician come out and put a transfer switch onto your home so that you could run a generator safely outside your home. You could buy a generator for less than $1,000. It can power most of your house, especially if you're on like propane heat. No, not everyone has a low transfer switch wired in. I wish they did. And so it's one of the things that's like, again, mini Highlink house. No, mini Highlink. Delete that comment. I don't need her to see that.
Okay. Nobody heard that.
Yeah. So like, again, stuff that you can't prepare for a storm the day before 12, 13 inches of snow rolls in. That's crippling for our area. So people prepare, they return all the generators after the storm to the stores. And then it's the same mad rush again, over and over. And for most of life, that's fine because we lose electricity for 5 or 6 days. We're hurricane country here. There was places in North Carolina that have power for 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks. And most people couldn't make it 2 or 3 days without power. At some point, the water tower runs out of water as well. Like, the only reason you have water pressure during a power outage is because there's water up in a water tower. Once that gravity pressure goes away, your water will stop running as well. Hopefully they got diesel backup pumps, but at some point those run out of diesel. So yeah, the answer to the question is not very many people prepared. Our power grid is very, very fragile.
Yeah. Yeah, I suspected you would say that, but I figured I would ask the expert. Cass said, yes, I'm Minnesota. You would have to be prepared truly. And winters here are rough.
Yeah, this is why I live in the South. I got like a 1 week taste of their weather, and I'm like, I'm over it. I think I almost cried the other day when I started snowing again. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do a second week of snow.
Yeah, I'm feeling really bad for New York City right now. Somehow I managed to escape the perfect winter, because the past few winters weren't that bad in New York City, and this one is really rough and brutal. So I'm sorry.
If it's rough in North Carolina, it's definitely rough in New York.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What about one homesteading skill everyone should learn this year? I mean, you've already mentioned stuff, I guess.
Yeah, gosh, I don't know. I guess just
most important.
Pick something that you're interested in and go do it. If you're whatever your algorithm's feeding you, if it's sourdough or it's garden or it's something, there's something in your algorithm about homesteading that you're already aware of, that's in your mind that you desire to do it. I would say do that. Learn to do that one thing. Making soap, like just make something from scratch. There's a lot of stuff you can start learning about homesteading before you ever homestead. I kind of wish I had learned more of it. My biggest thing is I have ADHD, so I try to do everything all at once. That's definitely not the way to do it. That is not ideal. So pick a skill, learn it, and just keep adding. Learn to can, learn to make soap, learn to make sourdough bread. Build up to those things so that you have those hard skills when you actually start homesteading, so you're not starting from zero. But I guess it would be pick one thing and do it. Go to a homesteading event near you. You'll meet a lot of people in your area that are also passionate about it, and start building a community around it as well, because it is lonely. If you go out and homestead because you're busy, you're on the farm, you want to find other people that are passionate about it. When you go to those conventions, all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's 15 people within 10 miles of me that are into the same thing. And she's into honey, I'm into bread making, he does this. And we had a people we met, their chicken barn burned down. Well, I have an excavator. So I hauled my excavator over. We met at an event and demoed his chicken barn for him. We're able to just help each other. So, but everybody kind of starts building a skill set, and then you have something to offer the community once you actually start doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was funny. Chrissy Mayer, I think it was yesterday, she posted making sourdough is a mental illness.
Yeah. But once you eat real bread, like it changes you. The stuff we get at the store is not real food.
Yeah.
So true. It's so true. With the Maha movement, we really need to pay attention to what we're consuming.
The flour that you buy at the store, if you feed it to mice, they die. They starve to death. There's not actually enough nutrition in our flour to sustain a mouse, because they strip out all the oils, all the proteins for pharmaceuticals, for cosmetics. When you start stone grinding your own wheat and you eat that bread, you're like, oh, this is why sailors had 4 pounds of bread a day. These guys that are burning 10,000 calories, they weren't eating Wonder bread. They were eating real bread. When you eat real bread with real butter on it, you're like, oh, this is the bread of life. That's why the Bible uses the bread of life. It's like bread was supposed to be this amazing thing, and we've turned it into this nutritionalist void of we call food, and it's just not. So much of our food is made with that enriched flour. I don't know how they call it enriched. They actually strip everything out of it, and they have to put things back into it so they can sell it to humans. It's absolutely wild.
Uh-oh. Your wife has entered the chat.
Oh gosh. Oh, no. I gotta go, guys.
Mona said, Sean's wife here, a mini Highland, is a pet. And since I'm not allowed to get any more pets, it's one of those things I'm going to have to sneak in when he's out of town. Anyone have any speaking engagements he can go to? We'll work on it, Mona. We've got this. We've got you. Couldn't get that Highland.
I think she probably just found out that I destroyed her garage door, because I haven't told her that yet.
Well, if she didn't hear it earlier, she heard it now. So there's that. Crazy Days said, learn one crop at a time and perfect it, then can it.
Yep.
I learned all my skills from driving Amish down south. Best life lessons, hands down. Start bartering your products.
Yes, barter.
And we got some sourdough, I've not yet accomplished that, but gardening, canning truly makes a difference. It's real wholesome food for your family. Yes. And did not know that about the flour. There is so much. Oh, Highlands. Yeah.
I mean, if someone wants to give us one of those cows, we'll take it. The problem is they're like designer purses right now. It is just insane how expensive they are.
Oh.
You could buy like 3 real cows for the same price.
Yeah. That's no good.
And what's the chances she's going to eat her cute little mini cow out in the field? Again, she said it's a pet. So, yeah.
Jay, do you have homestead questions? Did you have anything that we haven't covered that you wanted to ask?
Well, I mean, he's covered a lot, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about the the wheat thing or whatever. It reminds me of like in Iraq when I was there or whatever. They every spring or whatever they grow their own wheat and they grind it out by hand or whatever, and it's actually, the country is very like barren 90% of the year, and then when the rains come in the spring, they grow tons of wheat, and that just made me think of that. They're actually doing it better over there than we are here, and they big fat wheat that they used to have or whatever, because I can remember we'd just fly in over it or whatever. And remember the Pink Floyd video, Learning to Fly or whatever? That's exactly what it looks like. I used to have that song playing in my head or whatever, but that's really good to know that. I honestly didn't know that, because I've made sourdough and stuff like that, and I buy the organic flour, but probably after hearing what you just said, it's probably not even good flour, to be honest with you. Even the organic stuff is probably not even that good that I'm buying. So it may it's something I should look into.
Yeah, organic's really not that different than anything else. I mean, they still spray stuff on it. It's just organic chemicals, right? So or processes. It's still monocropped, right? And so I call it hollow food. If the minerals and the nutrients and stuff are not in the ground, it's not in the fruit. It's not in the food. If there's no magnesium in the soil, there can be no magnesium in your food, because your food, no animal, no plant can create elements, right? It can make compounds and combine things. So if your soil's not healthy, your food's not healthy. So it could be organic all at once, but if they're still tilling and leaving the soil fallow to dry out and kill all the microbes and all the fungus and everything that lives in the soil, then you're just not going to have real whole food. And the thing is, like, if you eat like the beef off of our farm that's been on real grass, or the chickens that have been on bugs, not this pasture raised where it's a little square outside the big hen house that they get to go outside for 12 square feet, but like truly on grass, eating bugs, eating insects, like there's real nutrition in that food, but it starts with the soil. If the soil's not healthy, the food can't be healthy. And we just have, when I bought this place 3 years ago, it was barren. It was just, there was no organics in the soil. And we've just had to pour into it for years to get it back. And that's part of the issue of like snapping our finger and going away from glyphosate, right? Is that we're hooked on it, right? Our system, it demands inputs. We can't just, if we would all starve to death if we basically stopped doing farming the way we did it tomorrow, right? It is a change that has to happen over time. And because we basically set up that we till everything, we plant it, we spray everything on it, we rip it all out, and we restart. If you go plant that same field and don't add anything to it, you're getting no yields, right? So it's something we got to slowly build back. And I think we take it, let big ag be big ag. Let's take that back as small homesteads. Let's offer really healthy food to our neighbors. But we also need to change the rule set that lets me sell food to my neighbors. I should not be ruled by the same rule set that Tyson Foods is ruled by, right? Like that's like the NFL, and I'm playing backyard football. And it'd be like if me and you wanted to play football in the backyard, and somebody said, whoa, what are you doing? You can't play football here. You got to have an NFL ref. It's got to be on an NFL. We can't afford that. Okay, well, you're shut down then. I think that's Joe Salatin that uses that analogy. But we need to have food freedom. He calls it Emancipation Proclamation for food. And just to get rid of, it is against the law for me to send meat to Angela in Florida because it didn't go through a USDA packing facility. What free world do I have to ask the government's permission to give food to my neighbor, right? That is wild. And that's something we should be raising hell about. If you change that, then all of a sudden we don't need to change the system because people will choose The only reason they don't buy the food that we provide now is because we'll get shut down for selling it. It's in a monopoly. And so we don't have to change it at the top. We just need to change the rules so we can start buying our food locally like we've done for millennia.
Wow. I don't know, Mona, I don't know if you saw, but apparently there are heaps or loads of rescue mini
Oh gosh. Let's overfill the food system, but no, we're gonna talk about mini cows.
Sorry, just had to put that out there. And Cass said, okay, I do have a great gardening trick I've done for years. Learned it from the Amish. I was cutting hair and they'd come and ask for our hair clippings in the salon. After asking, they take hair clippings and put them in near their gardens. Keeps most all away. The more you know. The human scent keeps most all away from your garden. Very interesting. Oh my gosh.
Probably keeps deer and like other mammals away for sure.
Yeah.
So does good fencing.
I can imagine. Okay, I have some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
One tool you can't live without.
Oh boy, oh gosh. One tool I can't live without.
Tool, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a mean question. All of them.
Oh no, the bold one.
Yeah, I guess it'd be the skid steer. I feel like it's a do-all tool, so I definitely have to have that.
Okay, you heard it here, folks. Chickens or goats?
Oh, goats.
Goats? How come?
I don't like chickens.
What, you don't?
I don't like chickens. They're gross. Chickens are gross. Goats are cute and funny, and they really make you really good at fencing. So they help improve your skills. So
I want to see some goats. I haven't seen goats in a long time. They're cute. They're very cute.
We just rescued 2 baby sheep from the storm. So we have baby sheep in our house. So that's fun. Mona, bring me a baby sheep. Baby sheep on the string.
Oh my gosh. Is that actually going to happen? Is that possible?
It might. If they're listening, it might. So.
Well, I'm not ending this until I see a baby sheep.
Somebody bring me a baby sheep.
Somebody please bring me a baby. We need the baby sheep in our lives. Everyone's, mood is going to boost 5,000%.
Exactly. If you're sad, I think I posted this on X. Like if you're sad, have you ever tried holding baby sheep? It is impossible to be sad and hold baby sheep.
I agree.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being sad with a baby sheep in my arms. Oh my God. Okay. While we're waiting for the baby sheep, hardest day of your 100-day challenge.
Oh, believe it or not, the first couple of days, it was an out-of-body experience. I thought I was being pranked, right? I didn't think it was real. Like they were just going to embarrass me. And then so I was like, oh my gosh, if I fail, then my kid will be like, oh, your dad's the one that failed the Mr. Beast video. And so like early on, like I almost tapped out because just my mind, the quitting mind, David Goggins calls it the quitting mind. The quitting mind was like in full control. I was trying to find any reason that I could quit but not be held accountable for quitting. And but then I realized it and locked in. But once I locked in, honestly, it was just kind of rinse, just do your routine, do the routine, stick with it. But yeah, the first couple of days, I didn't feel like it didn't feel like real life. It was a paranoia set in pretty heavy.
Yeah. Would you say that the mental component was more challenging than maybe the physical component of the whole thing?
Oh yeah, it was full mental. It was just a mental thing. It was like a whole 30-day period when I didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I was literally shaking when they came back. It was a mental challenge for sure. I've seen some of the other 100-day challenges they've done since, and I'm just glad I did mine alone. I wasn't competing with other people. Apparently they got people locked in a grocery store right now. It was definitely a hard mental challenge.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine. It sounds like it, but you did it. You did it. It must be very, you did it. It's incredible. Coffee over a campfire or espresso machine?
Oh gosh, espresso machine. I know you probably don't expect that.
I didn't actually, but I love it.
My son's become very good at making espresso. And so I'm learning like, oh, there's coffee, and then there's like really good coffee. So
Okay,
yeah,
I
I
love
definitely got
it.
my bougie side.
And if you had to survive with one modern luxury, what would it be?
A bed, I guess. Like being able to sleep
Fair.
good.
Yeah, bed kind of does make a difference.
I've slept enough in the sand and in rocks and on hammocks and stuff that the hardest part of the 7-day survival videos is the terrible sleeping conditions. But like, I could do 20 days in a cave if I had a mattress to lay on instead of a wet hammock. So.
Yeah, and sleep makes a difference
Oh,
to
it makes
our
a huge
overall
difference.
health.
Oh yeah,
The
the mental game is tough when you're. That was the one thing with the 100 Days in a Circle is I had plenty of sleep. I was sleeping like 13 hours a day. You take sleep out of that equation, that mental game becomes brutal.
Totally. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I just wanted to say thanks for this cast. I'm glad I found you through a raid. Love this stream. I gotta. Maybe she means oh God, but I'll be back. A great guest. We do have amazing guests. And Cass said, my family's watching the Mr. Beast games as we speak. So that's
cool. That was a great series. Divine Modern. Yeah, exactly. Is a bed really modern? How about a bed with a Sleep 8 mattress, right? Where I get like the heat and the cooling and yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
I hear footsteps. Is somebody bringing me a baby sheep? Oh, I think I have a baby sheep.
No way. Cass, you have to stay for the baby sheep. Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
This is a Styrian. Say hi. Whoa.
Hi.
He's getting almost too big.
Goodness.
Hey guys.
You're so cute.
Oh yeah. These guys they're not afraid of dogs. It's funny, they harass our dogs. Sheep are usually scared of dogs, but these, they chase our dogs around the house. So these guys, there's two of them. I just got one right now. We had a huge snowstorm blowing in, and they were born right as it was coming in, and we couldn't get the mom to move to a barn. So we had to basically raise them in the house. So they've been house sheep for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So, but yeah, here you go, Lana.
Gosh, thank you. That was wow. I can't even believe that just happened. That's so cool. You're welcome, guys. Thanks, Shawn. That was incredible. Oh, see, everyone's smiling.
Oh, look at a dog. Now there's a dog.
She knew you were bringing a sheep on here.
She was like, harass me, what? I'd like to see you try. Yeah, no, so adorable. That's so cute, so cute, so cute. All right, last question for you, Shawn. What about a piece of survival dad wisdom you'd pass to listeners raising kids in uncertain times?
Go do hard things carefully with your kids, right? Go struggle, but let them do dangerous things carefully. And I think that's a Jordan Peterson thing. But yeah, we always joke with my kids when they're complaining about them, like soft hands, boys. It's like go out and do some hard things together. It'll forge bigger bonds. And also with your friends, go do hard things with your friends. Put yourself in tough situations before you're put in a tough situation, so you're better prepared to handle them.
Yeah, and who better to hear this advice, life hacks from than you after having done all these challenges and really difficult situations. So I love that, though. I'm a big, get outside of your comfort zone type of person. Like where I feel like the greatest rewards come from the greatest challenges, pushing ourselves and all of that really. Yeah. So yes, I love that advice. You guys are being so sweet. Thank you so much. Love the floofs. Thank you, Cass. Thank you, Quiet Part Pod. I love you. You guys rock. Guys, if you have any final questions for Shawn, put them in the chat. Anything you want to know, because there's a lot you could ask him. He knows so many things and has experienced so many things. So any final questions for him, please put them in the chat. Other than that, I know we're getting ready for President Trump to deliver the State of the Union address tonight in just about a half hour at 9 p.m. Eastern. What are you guys hoping to hear from President Trump tonight? Anything you're hoping to see or hear from him?
I was supposed to be there tonight, but then I forgot I had this book, so obviously I had to cancel. So.
Oh my gosh, I'm honored. That's so nice. Yeah, my invitation got lost in the mail.
Yeah, I think that's what happened as well. I don't know. I'm so checked out right now because we're just in the middle of like being so busy. It's such a I'm not sure what people are angry about or happy about. Like, I don't know what to expect from it's, you know what I mean? It's like from the State of the Union, like I don't have any expectations, I guess, is the real answer.
Fair. Yeah. Also let us know in the chat what you're hoping. I mean, I would love to hear what you guys all think as well. I think, I don't know, from what I've gathered from talking to people, I think a lot of people are still concerned about the economy and affordability and would like to hear him kind of speak to that, I'm guessing. What do you think, Jay?
I mean, for me, I see both the good and the bad right now, and for me, it's mostly all good. The thing is like, if I compare the way things were going with Joe Biden and what they potentially would have gone with Kamala Harris or whatever, like mostly, almost 100%, I disagree with the way things were going, right, or the way things would have gone, and so. With President Trump, if he's accomplishing anything, like anything really, it's say he was only doing 50% of the things that I wanted to accomplish for our country or whatever, that's 150% difference than what we would have had. So, he's doing a lot of good things. The thing is people expect a lot out of President Trump because he's an anomaly. He really does. He's a very hard worker. He's working putting in like 20 hours a day, honestly, regardless of whether you like President Trump or nothing, the dude is a workaholic, and he does it caffeine free, he does it alcohol free. Like, the dude is putting in work, and I'm thankful for that because he's getting a lot accomplished with the things that he has. And Shawn talked about this, getting involved locally. We could be helping him a lot more. If he could be getting a lot more done if he had the support from underneath that he really needed to get some of this stuff done. And it's really a team effort, and the way I view things. And if he had more support, I think he would get a lot more done. But the thing is like, he's also doing a lot. One of the biggest things that he did was he closed down that border. I'm 46 years old. I've been told my whole life that they couldn't shut down that border. You couldn't do it. It's too big. It's too long. It's too porous. There's too many different factors. And they bring up the overstays and all these different things they bring up, to kind of shoot that down. But the thing is President Trump did it. He did it, and it's got to feel really good to be a Border Patrol agent right now, because you're doing the job that you signed up for. Making sandwiches and bringing people across the border was not the job that they signed up for. They signed up for it to secure that border and to stop people from coming over. And really, it protects the illegals too, because now they're not they're not involved in the human trafficking piece. They're not getting hurt by the I've known people that came or whatever, and people that. A woman that I talked to, she was raped when she came up through Mexico or whatever. And, we're stopping some of that too. And, to see what's happening in Puerto Vallarta or whatever, like that's also what we're stopping from coming over too. Right. The cartels are very dangerous. And, we shouldn't take that for granted. And, shutting that border down is huge in terms of like, keeping some of that out of our country. We can't have that. You
make a good point, because like I don't have much I'm expecting to see because things are going as expected. If you ask me what I expect to see out of the GOP, I've got a lot more opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I want the SAVE Act passed. Like, what's taking
me
too. If we don't fix our voting system, we have no country. But that's not Trump. Trump can't pass that. That's on our Congress. There's a lot of things I expect from Congress, but Trump's, in my mind, basically he's in charge. I voted him in. Like, I'm gonna let him do what he does, and we'll make a decision in 4 years if that was right or wrong. It is what it is. But the Congress is the one that really needs to act. I mean, I'd love if Trump got up there tonight, like, I'm abolishing the ATF, I'm abolishing USDA, but I mean, he can't. That's not his role is leadership on the executive side, negotiating, foreign diplomacy. But really, the people who need to step up to the plate is the Congress and get the SAVE. Like, honestly, I don't think anything else matters other than the SAVE Act, right? Because if you don't get that, then nothing else matters. And if we don't secure our election system, then who cares? Like, what's the point? So yeah, I would love to hear from him strong language about getting that done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really can't wrap my head around the people who are not on board with passing the SAVE Act. I can't.
Most Democrats are on board with it. Even like not talking politicians, most Democrats in the country agree that you should be a citizen, you should have to show ID. Most Democrats agree with it. So why?
I've never met a person in real life, face to face, that says no, we shouldn't have ID to vote. They're worried that maybe, people might get disenfranchised by it, which is a valid concern. But if you go ask people, who doesn't have an ID these days?
Yeah.
Apparently you had to have an ID and a social security card to go shovel snow in New York, but you can vote without one. It's wild.
It is wild.
So it is, again, it's one of these topics that there's like two major sides to, but there's not. There's the government who wants to control who gets elected and who gets to play at the party, because it's a ruling class, not a governing class anymore. And the thing they fear the most is us actually holding them accountable through the ballot box. And that's what they're trying to prevent.
Yeah. Chris said, needs to tell people to stay the course. We know activist judges in Congress are trying at every turn to block him, but they don't see the full picture yet. Cass said, you're spot on, Jay. And while I think he deserves it, I don't want to hear about the lack of Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, hopefully we won't hear about that. I don't know. We'll see. But the other crazy thing to me is how many Democratic lawmakers are boycotting and aren't going to be there. I think the last I saw is up to like 72 are not going to be in attendance.
Cry me a river. It's so childish and pathetic. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're so brave, so stunning and brave, so bold, right? Like, it's like the whole thing. They're being like, oh, look how brave they are. Like, come on, it's like, what are you 10? So I don't get that. Show up, hear what the guy has to say. You're stuck with him for the next few years anyway. You guys have already tried to impeach him a dozen times. Like, do something, make us vote for you. Give us an alternative that's better. But walking out, like, come on, it just makes you look pathetic.
It's a bad look, and I don't know what kind of precedent this sets either.
They would help their brand if they worked with President Trump on things that they both agree on. They honestly, if Democrats would work on the things that President Trump would also support, that they support, they would look way better than just being obstructionist. Like, it just looks foolish.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Nobody, the people don't get behind that. And I don't know what they expect to achieve from it, other than making the few percentage of their basis that would like that are always going to vote for them no matter what anyway. Right? You're not winning hearts and minds with this activity. There's not anybody in the middle going like, yeah, you walked out of that State of the Union. That changed my mind. I'm voting Democrat next time.
Right.
That's true.
It seems like a bad tactical decision, just speaking as if just strategically, it seems like a bad decision. Show up, be there, and offer better alternatives, and then offer a rebuttal. Hey, this is what we think is best for the country. But if you aren't there, you really can't talk about it.
Right.
Yeah. Cass says, yes, it's foolish. To sum it up, honestly, if none of the Democrats showed up, I wouldn't care one bit, because we wouldn't have to see them sitting there grumpily at all the good things happen. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm going to tune in and see how it goes. Shawn, thank you so much. This has been awesome. Please tell everyone, I see this is your handle. They can follow you. Can anyone help, with donations, fundraising, anything like that they can help support you and all your amazing causes?
Now, go get involved with your local politics. Go get involved with your local charity. Don't send me anything. Go help your community. Go help where you're at. Donate your money in your town with your neighbors. Meet people and get involved and be heard and build a town that you want to live in.
You heard him, people. I love it. Lighten fires. Thank you so much, Shawn. You rock. This has been awesome. I always really enjoy and appreciate talking with you. And it's just been great. You're such an inspiration to everyone, and I hope people, take notes and get up and get involved and do some things, which will be a win-win for everyone. And yeah, I appreciate you very, very much. Please stay in touch. Hopefully we can all, I don't know. We've talked about doing a meetup forever, like with,
I'll host it at my farm.
Yeah, with the Highland cows.
That's right.
And the baby sheep.
Cost of admission is a Highland cow. So. That's a very exclusive party at that price point.
It seems like a fair price to pay. I don't know. It sounds like a great time. Jay, do you have a show tomorrow? Anything you want to promote?
I do, but I just wanted to say thank you to Shawn for turning this really cool platform, this cool opportunity that you have, into a positive. A lot of people, they get elevated or whatever, they're up on this stage on social media and stuff like that, and they just kind of turn it into personal things or whatever, like their own personal, but you're turning it into a positive thing. You're helping your community, and thank you for everything that you did in North Carolina.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Shawn, Jay. Have a great rest of your night, and hopefully we'll talk soon. Thanks again so much for being here, and take care, guys.
Appreciate you.
Thank you guys so much. This has been awesome. I appreciate it. The chat was really chatting today, and it was amazing because I love hearing from all of you. And yeah, it was so great. A lot of it worked so much with what Shawn had to say and what he's doing and what he's up to. So the expertise and the knowledge was really there. It was great. It was so much fun. I always appreciate seeing you guys and interacting with you. Our next stream will be on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So tune in for that. Let's go watch the State of the Union address, and we can talk about it maybe on Thursday during the stream. But thank you guys so much. If you haven't already, please subscribe on YouTube. Thank you for all the love and support. I see you. I appreciate you. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. Yeah, couldn't do it without you. And also, again, to the amazing guests, Shawn and Jay, you all rock. Have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week, and we'll talk soon. Thanks so much. Stay bold.